Hi there. So, while I logically know that there are plenty of pessimists in the world that I'm sure think that they must be right because, X, Y, and Z bad thing happens, I would argue that any pessimist who has made a big change in the world is actually just an optimist who has doubts. The reason why I say that is because like if you're a pessimist, like a true pessimist, you take the wind out of your sails before you even begin. Like you can't actually gain any traction because you would never begin in the first place. But then if you're building something big, if you're actually taking the steps towards what you want, you're going to end up having doubts. You're going to hit roadblocks that'll give you doubts. And that can turn you into a temporary pessimist or maybe a pessimist on a certain topic because maybe it just, dampened your view a little bit. But that doesn't actually mean that overall now you are a pessimist. And ultimately, if you're going to build something, the only reason that you think it's even possible is because you clearly have to be somewhat optimistic. You literally cannot build something if you don't actually think that it could exist. You just simply you wouldn't build something if you didn't think that it could exist. And sure, some pessimists might do things just to prove that, oh well, this actually can't work. See here. Okay, but like you probably didn't actually do it right. Like let's be real. Like unless it's something as simple as, well, I push a button and the button doesn't make the thing appear. Like I worked in tech support, it's more than likely user error. There are plenty of times where even when I reach out to tech support, I'm like, look, I know it's probably user error, but I just need you to tell me what I'm doing wrong. And sometimes the turning it on and turning back off again, that just means you need to nap, or you need to walk away from the problem for a minute and just come back to it with a fresh set of eyes. And I just, when people decide to label themselves as a pessimist, how does that serve you? Like, really think about it. How does labeling yourself as a pessimist serve you? It doesn't. Like, the only way that it could potentially serve you is that then when good things happen, you get pleasantly surprised. Okay, I can get pleasantly surprised even while being an optimist. So, guess there, like, what other upside is there? You're not going to be as disappointed. Okay, well, when you're an optimist, you don't really stay in disappointment too long because you're like, well, something else will turn up. So I would argue that you actually handle bad things happening that much better when you're an optimist. I I just cannot think. I love playing devil's advocate and I love arguing the other side of a point, but I cannot think of a way that being a pessimist actually helps. Like long-term helps or benefits you in any way. And like how I said that being a pessimist takes the wind out of your sails before you even get going. Okay, well, maybe there's a storm brewing. Okay, cool. Well, an optimist would learn how to turn the sail a little bit and try and catch the wind in the right direction. But a pessimist is just going to be like, well, no wind out today, or, you know, they just give up. So then you're just floating in the water with nowhere to go. But an optimist is like, well, I'm going to adjust the sails, see if I can catch any wind, and if I can't, you know, I know wind will pick back up eventually because Mother Nature, and it always comes back around. I firmly do believe that the world belongs to optimists because optimists believe that they can conquer the world. So why should it not belong to them? I mean, pessimists would never claim that they could conquer the world, so clearly it doesn't belong to them. And the next time you're like going down that negative rabbit hole, as we all do, just stop and think about whether or not that rabbit hole is actually serving you. Sometimes the negative rabbit hole is what you need to do because you need to figure out where the actual problem is. And so you have to ask the tough questions. Yes. But most of the time, like once you've asked and answered the tough questions, then is that negative rabbit hole actually serving you, or is it just feeding that negative side of you until eventually you're just floating in the water and you don't know where you're going. You no longer see any land masses off in the distance and you're just stuck. I don't know. I don't feel stuck right now, but I know plenty of people do. And I know plenty of people that have reached out to me feel that way. And hopefully you are feeling like there's got to be wind somewhere because there is wind somewhere. You just got to find a way to capture it. So, because I love to ask questions and end every video with a question, what is a topic that you are currently really negative on, that you're kind of sick of that story, where you want to change that narrative? What is just one element of your life, especially if you're somebody who is a self proclaimed pessimist? Just pick one area of your life, and I challenge you to try and over the next like 30 days, just every time you have a negative thought, especially in that area, try and find a way to negate the negative thought. What are some positive ways that we can reframe it? Because that's exactly what all of my journal entries are. They're little phrases that have spoken to me when I am in that pessimist headspace. And hopefully they resonate with you as well. And I hope you have a great day.